So let's start with that Tigers and Astros series because, you know, we've been talking about the Tigers absolutely glazing the crap out of them. They've been the hottest.
We should.
The hottest team in baseball. But, man, what a worse matchup. I can't think of another worse matchup than getting the Houston Astros for your wild card series because, as we know, Houston Astros are an absolute juggernaut. And like we've been saying all season about the Houston Astros, man, like, I don't want to run into the Astros. They're the world. That's their home. We were just looking at Jose Altuve because he's the longest-standing Astro player on this team. He has 103 postseason games.
Yes.
That's almost an entire season of baseball being played in October for Jose Altuve. I don't want to face a team that has been there and done that and done it multiple times in the last decade of baseball. So for an amazing story like the Tigers, running into Houston is no matter how hot they are, I wouldn't want to run into those guys.
Well, here's the thing. I do hear what you're saying, and I think that there's a lot of great points to that. But I'm gonna spin this in the positive standpoint. You only have to play, or you only have to beat Houston twice.
Right.
To make it to wherever it is that you're going. You know, whereas alternatively, let's say that, you know, you happen to run into them in the ALDS or the ALCS, you got to beat them a hell of a lot more. You are the hottest team in baseball right now, and you only have to beat the Houston Astros twice. And if you can do that, again, it's a very hard thing to accomplish because Houston's going to have the home field advantage, and that is a very important thing in the wild card because there is no traveling back and forth. It's just, you know, you're there.
You're
yeah, exactly, right? Like, it's your stadium, your rules, you know, so that is an advantage for sure. But if you can get through the Houston Astros in the wild card, I mean, I know that this Detroit Tigers team and the fan base and everything like that is already believing. But if you can do that, then why the fuck not you?
Right.
Seriously,
no.
Why not you? If you can do that.
Well, obviously we know they're the hottest team in baseball, but the pitching staff has been a huge part of that. Of all the postseason teams, and I'm also looping in Diamondbacks, Phillies, and the Braves here as well because we don't really know. But they're the third best team in ERA of all the postseason teams. The one thing is their offense is the third worst, so they're going to have to get to Framber Valdez, and they're going to need Tariq Skubal, who's going to be pitching in Game 1, obviously, to put up an absolute gem. They got to be able to win that series, which they have done against good teams in this last little bit of run.
Yeah.
So they got to do it again, but, yeah, if they can go through that, then they would have the Guardians series matched up next, and I'd pick the Tigers over the Guardians just based on the way they're playing. They kind of remind you of similar teams, great pitching, can have some good offense from time to time. I'd go Tigers there.
I just feel like it's like you're running into your boss battle early, you know.
That's the thing.
And you know, again, like it is gonna be one hell of a fight. But if you can dethrone the Houston Astros, I know they're not the reigning World Series champions or anything like that right now, but I mean they've obviously won it a hell of a lot recently, and they are a very, very talented team. But if you can knock them off, then I genuinely think like the belief that you are gonna have in your team, in your organization, like that's going to be enough to propel you further into this entire thing. You're going to be then going into Cleveland, but a Cleveland team that will have been sitting for a couple days and doing all that whole thing, and you're feeling like a fucking $1 million after, you know, rolling through Houston and getting some wins there. So I just think that momentum, like it's like obviously you could get completely knocked here and it's going to kill you, but if you can do it, like the momentum that it's going to provide might be enough to then make one hell of a run. So I really am cheering on these Detroit Tigers. All that being said, though, if I had to bet my life on it, if I had to put money on it, I'm going to take the fucking guy that has 103 postseason appearances, postseason games. Please, somebody comment down below. We were talking about this prior to hitting record on this whole thing, but I don't think that there is any other active player that would have had more postseason games played than Jose Altuve. Maybe there is out there like Verlander?
No, but he's a pitcher.
That's
right. Different,
that's true.
right?
That's true. Yeah, exactly. So,
position player wise, I mean, Verlander might be the most active starting pitcher, or like Max Scherzer, but
right?
Yeah, not
not actually showing up in the game. You know,
right,
like he might have been in there in the dugout,
but exactly.
It's like doesn't really count. Yeah, exactly. If you guys can find somebody who's done more time in the postseason than Jose Altuve, please let us know. But it feels like in terms of active players, anyways, he would be the guy, and 103 is a crazy amount. You look over there at Yordan Alvarez, who is just starting his career, it feels like. I mean, this guy's 26 years old.
Yeah.
He's got 58 games played in the postseason.
God. Maybe he'll take over Altuve eventually one day.
I think
if Houston continues to be
dude.
dominant,
I mean, the fact that you have 58 games played in the postseason at age 26 years old is
gross.
insane. His slash line, by the way, in the playoffs is incredible. He's got a 949 OPS.
Oh my God.
I mean, that is what he does though, just regularly. So.
Well, I mean, every single season he's played, he's gone to the postseason. Alvarez doesn't know what postseason doesn't feel like.
The only time actually that they haven't is 2020.
They didn't go to the postseason in 2020?
Well, maybe they did, but
maybe
he
he was
wasn't
hurt.
there. Yeah,
'Cause,
I'm just looking at his stuff right here.
They did go. I do see Jose Altuve went, but
so he must have been injured. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he must have not been there. But yeah, so he's been there in 2019, 2021, 2022, 2023. Yeah, pretty damn good postseason resume here from Yordan Alvarez. So again, this is why this is such an incredible bout for the Detroit Tigers, because if you can do it, I think this is actually a fucking franchise-altering wildcard series. Like, if you can do this, you walk into the even if you get knocked in Cleveland, you walk into free agency with a completely different mindset of we are ready to go.
I actually already think they're there, no matter what happens, because it's one of those things where they just bursted into the scene, and I think regardless of how they play in this postseason, they're gonna go into this free agency a lot different. I'd hope so. I mean, I don't really know their whole budgetary thing. I mean, they did go sign, Baez a couple years ago. They did pay up for him. Granted, he sucks, so hopefully they make a little bit better decision making.
My
on the
understanding
characters
is they can spend, but it's got to be
the right spend.
Yeah,
it's kind of like the Toronto Blue Jays,
lesser though, because we do go. I think we spend quite a bit. I would say.
Yeah, they spent $140 million for Baez, who is our George Springer, and I guess both of them are doing bad. I guess that's a lesson. Don't buy middle-aged guys that. Very different, because Baez has an attitude problem.
Well, Baez says, yeah, you're right. I mean, they're both terrible though. But
Springer cares, but he's just injured
bad.
and old.
He's just bad. Yeah, I mean, most of the time, investing over $100 million in 30+ age players
really
is
work.
not the way to go. Really, there's a tier difference for me. I don't want to get too far off topic here, but there's a tier difference from the good players and then your future Hall of Fame player.
Right.
Because if I don't know, Aaron Judge, for instance, immediately became a free agent again. You can have all my money.
Yeah,
exactly. And that's the thing. There's a couple guys that it's I'll just pay you. I don't care I actually don't care how old you are. I'm just gonna give you the money, and
Exactly.
I know it will be fine.
Exactly.
Javier Baez clearly is not that guy. Neither is George Springer. But I do hope the best for the Detroit Tigers to finish off this conversation there. I assume though that if you had to put your money on it, you're taking Astros in this first series.
Absolutely, I'm taking Astros. I can't go against them. I mean, when was the last time they finished in the? I don't think they've been in the wild card series in a long, long time. Actually.
That's true.
Because they always win their division. So, I mean, I'm always going to go Astros.
I know. Until proven otherwise. And just think about that storyline if Detroit actually did pull this off. That's
underdogs.
Headlines.
And they are the underdogs.
Headlines.
I'll have them as the underdogs.
As they should be, man. Again, you're on the road. It's going to be very tough walking into that stadium and knocking off those guys.